everyone. I have finished Pride and Prejudice now, watched the movie, read the text along with audio. I'm so impressed with it, and I just loved it. It was a nice difference to the Brontes, and particularly Charlotte Bronte. I liked Jane Austen's humor, uh, particularly in the character of Mrs. Bennet. I like how since the beginning they call each other Mr. and Mrs. Bennet. Uh, Now I know some people don't like the film with Keira Knightley in it as Elizabeth Bennet, but I enjoyed Donald Sutherland's uh, characterization of Mr. Bennet, so I like that a lot. And here's some the text and audio from a scene with Mr. Collins.
And hurrying instantly to her husband, called out as she entered the library. "Oh, Mr. Bennet, you are wanted immediately. We are all in an uproar. You must come and make Lizzie marry Mr. Collins, for she vows she will not have him, and if you do not make haste, he will change his mind and not have her." Mr. Bennet raised his eyes from his book as she entered, and fixed them on her face with a calm unconcern, which was not in the least altered by her communication. "I have not the pleasure of understanding you," said he, when she had finished her speech. "Of what are you talking?" "Of Mr. Collins and Lizzie. Lizzie declares she will not have Mr. Collins, and Mr. Collins begins to say that he will not have Lizzie." "And what am I to do on the occasion? It seems an hopeless business." "Speak to Lizzie about it yourself. Tell her that you insist upon her marrying him." "Let her be called down. She shall hear my opinion." Mrs. Bennet rang the bell, and Miss Elizabeth was summoned to the library. "Come here, child," cried her father as she appeared. "I have sent for you on an affair of importance. I understand that Mr. Collins has made you an offer of marriage. Is it true?" Elizabeth replied that it was. "Very well. And this offer of marriage you have refused?" "I have, sir." "Very well. We now come to the point. Your mother insists upon your accepting it. Is it not so, Mrs. Bennet?" "Yes, or I will never see her again." "An unhappy alternative is before you, Elizabeth. From this day you must be a stranger to one of your parents. Your mother will never see you again if you do not marry Mr. Collins, and I will never see you again if you do." Elizabeth could not but smile at such a conclusion of such a beginning, but Mrs. Bennet, who had persuaded herself that her husband regarded the affair as she wished, was excessively disappointed. "What do you mean, Mr. Bennet, in talking this way? You promised me to insist upon her marrying him." "My dear," replied her husband, "I have two small favours to request. First, that you will allow me the free use of my understanding on the present occasion, and secondly, of my room. I shall be glad to have the library to myself as soon as may be." Not yet, however, in spite of her disappointment in her husband, did Mrs. Bennet give up the point. She talked to Elizabeth again and again, coaxed and threatened her by turns. She endeavoured to secure Jane in her interest. But Jane, with all possible mildness, declined interfering, and Elizabeth, sometimes with real earnestness, and sometimes with playful gaiety, replied to her attacks. Though her manner varied, however, her determination never did.
Now, as we all know, Elizabeth does come. She recognizes her prejudice in Mr. Darcy, and they, wow, no spoilers, right? I love Jane Austen July, and I want to thank the three hosts again, Katie, Claudia, and Brittany. Or no, I'm sorry, Marisa. I always confuse. Okay, I think I got them right. So, thank you, women. Appreciate it. Free education on BookTube, right? Jane Austen is the shite. Ta-ta.